Smacked Raw podcast. Hey, you guys. Welcome to the Smack Raw podcast, a wrestling recap show where we cover all your WWE, AEW, NXT, SmackDown, Raw, whatever. We cover it all, and we do pay-per-view predictions as well. Like always, man, it's your host over here. I'm the Kai Tai Show, and joining me today, the Tiger King himself, Mr. Vicente Exotic. What's going on, man?
I like how you pulled out my government. But, hey, man, not much, man. We're here to cover the weekend wrestling. I'm excited. I've missed the show. We haven't been here since our exciting March Madness podcast, which you guys should definitely check out, by the way. But, yeah, man, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm excited for WrestleMania. Not bad. Can't complain.
Yeah, so if you guys are familiar with the show, we normally cover all our shows individually, but we just had a run of bad luck, as of I think everyone is happening right now anyways. So we weren't able to cover Raw and NXT and AEW, so we said screw it. After SmackDown, we'll kind of just run down all the shows in a more bite-sized format for each of them, so we're not sitting here for 5 hours, I guess, covering them. But if you guys are new to the show, for one, make sure to like, subscribe, and download to whatever platform you're watching us on. We're pretty much on all your major podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the big ones, of course. And then we're over on YouTube as well, where you can catch the live stream. Make sure to hit like and subscribe. I learned, Vince, if we want to make some money, we're on to the next milestone. 100 subscribers now. Help us get to 1,000. All right, and that's what we want. 1,000 subscribers. We'll work on that. Try and make some of that YouTube money. I heard you can make about $20 a month or something.
Hey, production costs, man. Production costs.
Yeah, man. Of course, also, if you're live streaming us, you're probably watching us on anything from Facebook to Twitter to a whole bunch of things. We're using a great tool provided by Restream, where if you chat with us in any of those, they'll pop up over here. Give us a shout out. Let us know your predictions, what you thought of the shows, and we'll go ahead and like I said, we'll give you a shout out on air, man. So make sure to be active in the chat because I'm reading it on air for you guys. But with that being said, Vince, you wanna give this new format a shot that we're just winging it?
Yeah, we're definitely winging it, but it's probably a format we're gonna have to continue on for at least 2 weeks or so. Just given the circumstances, WWE might be taking a hiatus, and maybe AEW as well. We don't know what's gonna happen with wrestling. So I think it might be best to just sit here for like an hour or so, maybe an hour and a half, talk some wrestling, just recap the folks on what went down. Might as well just start with the first show of the week, which was Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, and I'll run down the big notes on Raw, man. The first thing, which probably deserves the most praise, is the Undertaker promo. So if you didn't catch this, Undertaker came out. He's looking more like the Dead Man, the American Badass Taker. He even drops a line in here, says, "I'll make you famous." I think this is a great touch. I think this will allow AJ Styles to beat him at Mania, because then you can have the caveat that AJ Styles beat the Dead Man, or beat American Badass Taker, not the Dead Man. So I'm digging that. That's what I think is going to be from there. We got a Aleister Black taking on this Jason Cade. Pretty much enhancement talent squash match for Aleister Black, leading into his match with Bobby Lashley. Yeah, it was just there. It was filler. You can never complain about a good Black Mass, though, honestly.
Oh, no.
Yeah. We got Becky Lynch cuts a promo after they decide to air the triple threat match.
No, she starts her promo, talks about the triple threat match, sits there while the entire replay is happening, then finishes her promo.
I'd like to think that she watched the whole match, just sat there and just enjoyed the handiwork.
Oh yeah, I like to think that way too. You know, within the confines of kayfabe, she watched the entire match with us.
During the ass end of the promo, after the match took place, Shayna Baszler appeared out of nowhere, choking Becky Lynch, and the empty audience actually added to this segment because it was eerily silent. With the choking, there wasn't much of a struggle. There wasn't much audio being picked up, man, and it was really dreadful. It was pretty brutal, man. Before Baszler ended up slinging Becky Lynch headfirst into the side of the commentary table, which always looks rough, and tackle that with the or combine that with the audio of her head slamming into it. Just sounded brutal, man. It was a very, very, very good segment. Following, we have Kevin Owens and the Street Profits took on the team of Seth Rollins, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory. Okay, so someone's letting Universe Mode just go crazy on 2K20 over here, teaming up Rollins, Garza, and Austin Theory. Now, granted, I'm not the biggest fans of the three, but from what I gather, man, a lot of the people in the know, this was just like a dream team for a lot of guys. Like the reaction I saw. But overall, man, the match was fine. It was really great. Believe who won it? The Rollins. Kevin Owens got the win, but Rollins
Angel
got
Garza. He stunned Garza, but Rollins was waiting for the match to end so he can stomp Kevin Owens.
And he got the stomp at the end, man. It was nice. This also saw that horrific botch with Montez Ford.
He died. He died for her.
Oh my god! On Twitter, Montez Ford. So if you're not aware, if you didn't see this has got to be like one of the most gifted and replayed things throughout the whole week. Montez Ford, at 2 points in the match, does the same exact spot. He yells like WrestleMania, baby, and then he does a jumping flip over the top rope to the outside. On the second go, if you notice, Seth Rollins goes to grab his leg. I think there was a botch there because Seth, I guess, misses, or Montez thinks he misses, and apparently Montez Ford figured, I guess that means I got to go over the top rope. Man, for one, he's got vertical leap for days, and two, Austin Theory was nowhere to be found to catch him. He lands back first on the damn steel ramp. Looked brutal. My favorite part, though, was Montez Ford hopping on Twitter, and he uploaded the clip of Mike Tyson having that famous interview where he talked about having a broken back. So it was.
Oh man,
yeah, it was
good. It was good.
It was solid. We got another promo from Edge, who is just upping the intensity going into this last man standing match. Promo was very good. Edge still going on that he believes his version of grit, or his definition of grit, is different than Randy Orton's. But you can tell that Edge is just sinking his teeth into this fully. The only thing that really gets me is this is where I think the lack of an audience is hurting the story. It's such a level of intensity to carry out into a completely empty arena. It's actually quite amazing that he maintains that character so well going through it. But like I said, it's just weird. It's weird to be that angry in a silent room. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So, but Asuka came out. She got a win back because obviously she can't go off of too many losses. She of course lost to Alexa Bliss the other week, which is still surprising. Asuka defeats Kaden Carter with the Asuka lock. Not sure who Kaden Carter is.
She's an NXT star. She's one of those that are like sometimes get a win, sometimes they don't. But for the most part, it's just one of those like I want to say the jobber to the stars of NXT. That's the way I put it.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
And then finally, the last big thing was Paul Heyman cut an in-ring promo with Brock Lesnar at his side, essentially saying that, Paul Heyman can only cut the same promo so many times, but essentially he goes off saying that come this time next year, here's the spoiler, it's going to be me and Brock Lesnar getting ready for the next opponent, which okay, so that was nice. It was nice to try and you're done spoiling the current pay-per-view, so he's already moved on to next year's pay-per-views, and he's spoiling them. That was this week's episode of Raw in a nutshell. I will give it this. It's hard. It's a really good episode, but at the same time, these empty arena shows can only be so good, in my opinion.
Right.
Some obvious highlights, though, I gotta hand it to the Becky Lynch stuff. That was pretty brutal. Going on, Heyman's promo was actually pretty refreshing. It was pretty cool to put the spin on that we'll be here next year, completely overlooking Drew McIntyre, and then Montez Ford's botch. The whole 6-man tag match was really, really good. But yeah, the Montez Ford botch was just. That's the one thing that keeps me up at night is that sickening thud onto that steel ramp, man, was brutal. But yeah, man, that was Raw.
Yeah, not bad of a show. I thought it delivered what it was supposed to do. I thought it was carried by the promo segments, specifically, like the Kevin Owens promo, the Heyman, the Taker, and the Edge stuff. I felt like that's what carried the entire show. That's what made it very watchable.
Oh, yeah, that's the last thing I missed is that Taker promo was seeing him in the beanie, man. Seeing him in the beanie. I think Taker needs to come out, man. Do the American Badass stuff. What do you guys think in the chat? Taker's supposed to be doing the American Badass stuff? Is that what you want?
I want him to do a hybrid. Do like the American Deadman gimmick or something where he doesn't necessarily come out on a bike, but he comes out with like the beanie. He has like the leather jacket that he used to, go lean more into that because the promo really did feel like it was less Deadman Undertaker and more Mark Calloway / Breaking Skull Session Undertaker. That's who felt like was talking. And that kind of Taker, I know we were talking with Matt, we were giving him a hard time about how Taker should just retire. He's like, no, he'll let that man just go ahead and just retire whenever he's ready. If he continues to do stuff like that, it might be beneficial. I'm looking forward to WrestleMania and his match with AJ Styles. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, WWE is doing the best they can to get me excited for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I'm thinking AJ needs to tap him out, bro. AJ needs to tap his ass out with
You're
the
right,
calf
man.
crusher.
I'm telling you, he teased something about the Unholy Trinity showing up or something at the Boneyard match because he also invited Gallows and Anderson. So I feel like there's going to be someone to show up and help Undertaker in this situation. It's going to be very cinematic. This match and the Firefly Funhouse match, both those matches are going to be separated between 2 days. And I don't know, it's going to be Taker, man. Like I said it on our predictions that I uploaded to the audio version already.
Yeah,
Undertaker, dude. Undertaker only lost to Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. AJ Styles is not on their level. Undertaker's not losing to AJ Styles.
Hey, Wrestling Podcast says going into the Dead Man stuff, or not the Dead Man stuff. Excuse me, the
American Badass.
American Badass. He says that's what he wants, man. He says he's like, I'm not 2 years old anymore. I don't think he's dead anymore.
I get you, man. But we'll see. Overall, I thought Raw did what it could. I felt like if it was a 2-hour show, it would have been pretty good. But I feel like we said that a lot about Raw recently, it being just like 2 hours instead. But yeah, man, that was Raw.
Yeah, go ahead. Talk us through this week's NXT, my friend.
Honestly, I thought NXT pretty much delivered. I feel like NXT and AEW are the 2 shows, especially like now that there's actual wrestling on NXT, are the 2 shows that kind of found what they should be doing, and those are the 2 shows that I don't really notice the crowd isn't there so much. I feel like SmackDown's the one show I notice that a lot. I'll talk about that more when we get to SmackDown, but we started NXT off. We had Velveteen Dream versus Bobby Fish. It was a challenge that Adam Cole set out for Velveteen. solid match. I thought it was funny that Velveteen was wearing purple latex gloves to wrestle. So he was using latex gloves, but they were purple, so they fit his gimmick and what he's doing. Solid 20-minute match. Velveteen gets the win with the dead Dream Valley Driver. Obviously, afterwards he cuts a promo with Adam Cole. They haven't set when they're going to have this title match, but I would assume so in like 2 weeks or so, sometime. Hopefully, it already got recorded. I don't know if it was taped or not. I feel like the theme here is he's going to have to go through the Undisputed Era to get to Adam Cole. He already went through Bobby Fish. It makes sense to go to Kyle, then to Roddy, and then come back finally to Adam Cole to get that title match. After we had Malcolm Bivens. He had an interview. He introduced his new faction to two associates of his that he has, two giant AOP guys with face paint. Bivens Enterprises is what they were called. I thought it was really good. Do you know anything about Malcolm Bivens at all?
I was just going to ask you that. I was going to say, I've seen him on Twitter for the last several months in, funny photos, but he just struck me as, to be honest, as, a really lucky fan who gets, who I guess is popular with the wrestlers.
So, I don't know too much about him when he was Stokely Hathaway, but he was basically, the who's who of managers in the indie scene, and slowly started to wrestle towards his last couple of the year or so in the indie scene. Okay. And that's who he's going to be. He's basically going to be a Paul Heyman type guy. And what NXT has done recently, especially with the Robert Stone brand and Chelsea Green, now you got Malcolm Bivens and Bivens Enterprises, is they're trying to reintroduce the role of the manager and the valet. And that might be where NXT is going with it. So afterwards, so we had the in-ring debut of Jake Atlas, pretty well known by the indie community. He was taking on Dexter Lumis, who came out to Stranger Things inspired theme song. I thought it was very good.
I love some Dexter Lumis. Yeah, dude, I love me some good. Dexter Lumis, man. That guy just has a look. Holy moly.
He legit looks like a serial killer to me.
Dude, he could be like the next Kane, man. Telling you.
I don't know about the next Kane, but he gives me early NXT Bray Wyatt vibes, where he's like a cult leader, like a sadistic psychopath. That's who he's gonna be. He's gonna be that upper mid card guy to the stars.
No, he strikes me as Buffalo Bill.
I could see that.
Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, man.
Oh yeah, definitely. So he had a match against Jake Atlas. It was Jake's NXT debut. It's a dominant match for Lumis. Kind of knew it was going to happen. He tapped him out with an Anaconda Vice type finisher. Mm-hmm. That was really good. The big thing of note for this match is that Dave Meltzer made a big issue about Jake Atlas losing, saying that he got buried and that he got squashed, and that Sam Roberts was burying him on commentary, that he made a career mistake. He should have signed with AEW or something. If he was in AEW, he'd be one of the top stars there. And I'm sorry, Uncle Dave. No. You're trying to tell me that immediately he'd be above Hangman Page, Kenny Omega, Jericho, Dean
Aleister Black lost his debut match, didn't he?
He was not as Aleister Black, but he lost his debut match.
As Tommy End, right?
Yeah. So
he lost his debut match.
Velveteen Dream lost so many matches until he actually became Velveteen Dream as Patrick Clark. So, I don't know. It is what it is.
Pump the brakes, Uncle Dave. Pump the brakes.
Yeah, man. Pump the brakes. More Killer Cross stuff. So Killer Cross is definitely going to be an NXT guy. I think I might have saw Scarlett Bordeaux in the video package. Don't know. Not sure. But I do need me some Scarlett Bordeaux on NXT TV. Definitely will drive up the ratings. And that's a coveted 17 to 45 demographic or whatever it is. You know Scarlett Bordeaux is going to bring in the ratings when she starts showing up on NXT. They recapped the PC destruction between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and they confirmed that next week the Black Heart versus the Rebel Heart, one final beat. That's how they dubbed the match. Essentially, it's going to be like a street fight, false count anywhere type situation. The ref is really only there so that it ends, so he can count 1, 2, 3. There's really no rules. So, and the way they set it up is Triple H is going to text them the location of where this match is going to happen. They're just going to have a ring somewhere. Yeah. So that's how this is going to be.
This is the world we're living in, folks. I love that, man. I love it.
Following that, we had the second chance gauntlet match to determine who would be the sixth competitor in the women's number one contenders ladder match next week. It was Shotzi Blackheart. She started off with Deanna Purrazzo, and she ran the gauntlet. She eliminated Deanna. She eliminated Xia Li, who was the third entrant. She eliminated Aaliyah, who was the fourth. She eliminated Kaden Carter, who was squashed by Asuka this past Monday. And until she got to the final with Dakota Kai, and eventually it was Dakota Kai picking up the victory with the the upper hand, the help of Reina Gonzalez. Shotzi Blackheart really got Twitter buzzing, saying like, man, this Shotzi Blackheart is something else. She had the Kofi Kingston treatment where she just ran the gauntlet and just put on a great showing. And yeah, I liked it. I kind of figured it was going to be Dakota Kai to be in that ladder match, and now we have that set for next week. It's going to be.
Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead. No, finish it up.
Yeah, it's going to be the 6-woman ladder match. It's going to have Io Shirai, Tegan Nox, Dakota Kai, Chelsea Green, Mia Yim, and I'm forgetting and Candice LeRae. The winner of that obviously is going to get a number one contenders match against either the winner of Rhea Ripley or Charlotte this weekend at WrestleMania. So
sweet.
That's the big match. So next week NXT is already looking pretty solid with the ladder match and then that Ciampa Gargano match. That should be pretty good. They're really packing it.
Or Wrestling Podcast is asking. I'm gonna leave this to you. He's asking both of us, but I don't watch enough NXT. He's asking, do you guys actually think it's going to be the end between talking about Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, or is someone going to interfere? And see, I don't know who would interfere in this.
Yeah, I don't know who would interfere as well.
Yeah,
unless it's Killer Cross, because last week they were having their little promo segment with Triple H and Killer Cross's vignette showed on the Titantron, and they never addressed it. So maybe Cross comes in and gives the win to Johnny Gargano, and you move into Killer Cross Tommaso Ciampa. That's the only person I can see coming in and involving this. But this is over. This has to be over because Triple H has made it clear that if this doesn't end, both of you guys are out of NXT. Okay. So it's not. So they've left that caveat. They could always book themselves out of that situation, but I'm gonna take Triple H on his word and say that this is the final Johnny Gargano Tommaso Ciampa match. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. If someone does interfere, I think it's gonna be Killer Cross, and he's gonna attack Ciampa.
Who was it? Wasn't it? Yeah, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens had their final match, and what was it, like 4 months later they were wrestling again?
But that was main roster. Though. I feel like if this was Raw or SmackDown, I wouldn't believe it, but NXT for the most part, they try to keep things like, if we say it, this is going to be, our word is our buying.
Got you. Okay.
So we had Kushida taking on Joaquin Wilde. I know you're not a big fan. I know RN isn't a big fan.
Yo, Joaquin is whack as fuck, man. Like, dude, get this clown off my screen. Dude, he is like the Dollar General version of Ricochet, and I hate Ricochet. Anyway.
The thing with him is that I feel like he's trying to define who Joaquin Wilde is, because before this he was DJZ. They had to change his name. So it's one of those situations where WWE switches to superstars' names, and he's trying to figure out what his gimmick is going to be on WWE. And if it was just DJZ, that's why the whole thing makes sense, because he's the DJ, and that's where the name stems from. And DJZ just is a cooler name. Then they get the helmet. I love DJZ because he's wrestled here in Chicago. So again, I'm biased with some of these NXT wrestlers that come in, but at the same time, I'm not a fan of his helmet that he's got going on.
It's lame, man. It's so lame, bro.
I love you, DJ. Love you, DJZ. Joaquin Wilde, do your thing. But this was a victory for Kushida. They addressed. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Raul Mendoza, one of the Mexican luchadors in NXT, he got kidnapped by the Lucha Libre Mafia or something.
They need better security down at the Performance Center. That's NXT is just having people getting kidnapped, bro.
So if I feel like it's just a parking lot in Full Sail University, because if you remember, that's where Kenta / Hideo Itami got attacked. That's where everything happens.
Is in that damn parking lot, man.
Yes. So unfortunately for Joaquin Wilde during his interview,
I'm taking an Uber to the front door every time.
Yeah, exactly, man.
No more walking that damn parking lot.
But yeah, so that was the big gist of it. It looks like whatever they have planned for Raul Mendoza is also going to include DJ Z slash Joaquin Wild. So he might not be doing his like little lane game because even during his interview, he sounded a little bit more aggressive. Like he might be turning a heelish route. So we never know. They might be attacking together and they might be paired up. I forgot who it is. Maybe like Mil Muertes. I don't know. Some guy from Lucha Underground. Like it was like a big like evil guy. I don't know, man. I didn't watch too much Lucha Underground, but supposedly he signed to NXT, and they're gonna have some kind of like luchador like mafia thing going on. So that might be the thing going forward. And NXT wrapped off with the main event, the triple threat between Damian Priest, Dominic Dijakovic, and Keith Lee. Man,
Did you hear how this match got spoiled by NXT before the match even occurred?
I was interacting with one guy I follow on Twitter, feeding for followers, and apparently he's in the UK, and they just ran the entire NXT episode, no commercials, or there were limited commercials. So this match ended at around the 40-minute mark, like 20 minutes to go at the top of the hour, and yeah, so a lot of people in the UK already knew the results of this
But
match.
I'm saying even before that, when NXT went on air, they spoiled the main event.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you were on, I believe it's WWE's website, they had a link to their gallery, and they had posted pictures in the gallery of the stuff that happened throughout the night, including the triple threat. And had you gone there, it had pictures of the winner holding up the belt. So they spoiled it. Like if you were on the WWE's website, yeah, you had that main event spoiled before it ever went up.
Well, I don't think I've ever gone to WWE.com unless it was like to look up a roster for like a show that we're gonna do or something. That's the only time I ever go. In their defense, though, yeah, that's a botch, big botch right there. It's very similar to when Kofi Mania.
Glad they got it out of their system now, though, and now they know not to do it at WrestleMania. Like, imagine
Right?
tuning in to WrestleMania and the damn like there's a gallery that goes up and it just spoils. Like you go what 2 weeks? It's unprecedented to have taped wrestling programs and us not to have them spoiled over 2 weeks just for them to spoil it like the day of.
Yeah. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt here, though. Come on, Keith Lee was going to retain that title. We knew he was going to retain. We just knew it was going to be a really, really good match. And by the way, I liked that the presentation gave a very UFC fight feel. I don't know if you saw it, where like they were like, it was like a wide shot, and then whenever they do the ring announcing for the competitor, they show like a graphic above the guys and just listing their stats and their nameplate and stuff. So I liked
cool.
that. I thought, it was really good. There was a lot of good spots in the match. Razor's Edge to the outside by Damian Priest into a plancha. It's like spinning heel kick to Keith Lee, knocked them out. Overall, like you were saying, it was Keith Lee that won the match, and he called it, the finisher's called Big Bang Catastrophe. I never put it together, but if you put the abbreviations together, it's BBC.
Oh, so, Jesus Christ.
So I just wanted to make sure I got that on there. Overall, I liked the NXT. The only thing that sucked was Sam Roberts was on commentary and was burying a lot of people.
Yeah, I'm not a really big fan of Sam Roberts, man. I fucking could care less about that guy. Yeah, let's go on over to AEW. In my opinion, out of the 3 shows that I watched, AEW was the show of the week. However, I'm going to give segment of the week to SmackDown, and I'll let you cover that. But
For sure.
AEW, man, they're doing what they can with what they got, and I think that's actually, I think that's kind of like all of us right now, anyways. But they started the show off with an insanely good match, 20-minute time limit between Kenny Omega and Trent Beretta of Best Friends. This match had everything. They went back to having a couple wrestlers on the outside posing kind of like as the audience, which instantly adds to the atmosphere so well. And I think that's why AEW stands out to me so much. Other than I'm probably like a shill. You guys call me a fucking shill, whatever. But throughout the match, I mean, there's just a ton of spots. It spills to the outside. Trent ends up trying to work over Kenny's hand because it was previously injured. And then, of course, at one part, Kenny Omega catches Trent on the outside and then power bombs him into a steel beam. Looked really, really nice. You're led to believe it's going to go to a draw. But with less than 1 minute remaining, Kenny Omega hits the one-wing angel, picks up the victory. I think the official time was like 19 minutes, 14 seconds. Yeah, it was good. We got some recaps of the Matt Hardy, Chris Jericho stuff that went down over the last weeks. I got to tell you, man, Chris Jericho deserves a fucking medal. As gloom as everything has been, this dude has been turning out comedy gold every time you put the fucking camera on him. And it just for a moment takes you out of this situation we're all finding ourselves in. And Chris Jericho will make you laugh your ass off. And that includes later in the evening, too, when he has his promo. We had a match. Hikaru Shida, my girl, my pick, the female John Cena of AEW, taking on the debuting Anna Jay, who I just saw a bunch of my mutuals on Twitter all of a sudden are following Anna Jay, getting behind her. Essentially, it's a glorified squash match, but Anna Jay did get some good stuff in there, and I think it was a very good debut match for her to not come out and look quite like local enhancement talent. Kind of strikes me as Penelope Ford. You don't really expect much, but then she's probably got a really good match, which will turn the tide, and change perception. So I don't see anything wrong with this loss. And, of course, it makes Shida, my girl, look great. What else we got going on in here? Lance Archer murdered Marco Stunt.
I saw that.
Yes, he did. Oh, my God. Dude, the choke slam he hit from the outside. Oh, my God. So Lance Archer they're going into this tournament for the TNT championship, right? And Lance Archer's in that tournament. But this was not an opening round. This was just his debut match. Of all people, poor Marco Stunt. Marco Stunt got maybe a drop kick in this match. He got his ass beat, bro. I'm trying to articulate it like it was something special. No. But at one point, Lance Archer has him hoisted up in a choke slam on the outside ring apron and literally just throws Marco Stunt over the barrier onto the wrestlers that are waiting on the outside. And it was absolutely hilarious. We have a vignette of Mr. McMahon. Mr. Brody Lee.
I saw that.
Leaning very heavy. Last week, I was okay, you guys, I see how you make you bridge the gap, the sneeze thing. This week was much less subtlety. Yelling at people for yawning, yelling at people for he's my name is Mr. Brody Lee, and they'd be like, Mr. Lee, and he's like, Mr. Brody. And just he's just leaning into this Vince gimmick. I turned a corner how I'm feeling, though. And let me explain. I'm going to break it down really quick. The Dark Order has something really good going for them. And I'm not saying that interjecting Brody Lee is messing it up. But within 2 weeks, we've dismantled the majority of the image we had set for the Dark Order. And I'm worried, and I hope it doesn't go down this way, but I'm hoping that we don't lose Evil Uno and Stu Grayson's present to Brody Lee. I think they need to somehow have a triangle of power. Let the Exalted One, of course, be the overall leader, but maybe we're just getting a couple weeks of getting Brody Lee on TV, and then he'll take a step back and let Evil Uno and Stu Grayson shine some more. Because I was really liking the direction the Dark Order was going, but now it's kind of starting to lean into a joke on Vince McMahon at the expense of this faction that was projecting itself to just run roughshod over the whole AEW locker room. And
for sure.
Yeah, so that's the only part that worries me is I hope that we don't lose the strength of this faction just so we can dig on Vince. I'm not upset at digging on Vince. Like, I don't care who takes shots at who. If you can make it funny and it's good material, awesome.
You just don't want it done in the expense of a great faction who's just coming up and building on something.
Exactly. And then also at the expense of like your long-term booking and stuff like that, which ties into what you said. If you're going to get your digs in, make them funny, yeah, but keep that story moving good. But what else we got over here? The Natural Nightmares, the team of QT Marshall and Dustin Rhodes took on the Dark Order, members 8 and 9. So they're numerical now. Dustin and QT Marshall showed some pretty good teamwork. Nothing too crazy. They're not going to be putting on 5-star matches. However, they do work well together. Mm-hmm. They'll probably serve to help fill in the tag team division. I don't really see championship in their future, but they do. They're fun to watch. Anyways, the QT and Dustin, they go over. They beat him in about, I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes. Brody Lee comes out. He stares everybody down, and he just power bombs like one of the Dark Order members to send a message to his other people. Like I said, once again, it's weary. I don't think it's bad yet. Yet. I'm weary of, the direction it might be heading. Then we get a segment for Chris Jericho, man. I love this shit, dude. So Chris is at his hot tub, relaxing, taking some well-deserved time off, and talking to the crowd when in comes Vanguard 1 again, and Chris tries to serenade him, essentially like, look, maybe I was too harsh, Vanguard. I'm glad you're coming back to hear me out, and he's trying to smooth things over with this drone. And then he even offers it this little mini inner circle shirt on a coat hanger and hangs it on the drone mid-flight. And then at that point, Vanguard 1 decides to fly off. And then, of course, this is to the ire of Chris Jericho. And he runs. He says, release the hounds. And he launches, I'm assuming are his pet dogs, which he's got a collection of like 12 cute, adorable little pet dogs. Like not an intimidating one in the bunch. And he says that Vanguard 1 will rue the day that he crossed him.
I liked it because it reminded me, it was like a parody, like a combination of like Mr. Burns and like the Neville from iCarly, where like it's comedic and like evil, like old man going at it. I love the approach that Jericho is taking with this whole thing. It's just enough to be serious, but it's the funny moments aren't taking itself too seriously and allows it to just like organically build.
Yeah, man, exactly. No, I love it, man. Chris Jericho is the highlight, and it looks like he's really I almost feel like he's actively trying to uplift the wrestling community. I don't know how to say it. Maybe I'm reading too much in it. But the man's turning out comedy gold on TV, and then if you follow him on Twitter, it's just turning out gold there. Everywhere he goes, man. If you're in the need for a good laugh, just look up anything Chris Jericho's doing, and he should lighten up your spirits for sure. We close the night out with a tag match between the team of Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin taking on Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara. And what a banger of a match, folks. Once again, AEW, you can rely on them for good wrestling. You know what I mean? Amongst other things here, not knocking anybody else. I know NXT, they're the other hard hitters in the wrestling department. But we had an incredibly good match between the two teams. At one part, Darby Allin scales up a support beam and just hits a coffin drop from, I don't know, like 15 feet out of the air. It was awesome, man. It was really good. You weren't sure if Cody and Darby were going to work well as a team, but once that bell rang, man, they were in sync, and it actually kind of cost them. At one part, Shawn Spears goes for a chair, and Darby goes ahead and gets in the way to help Cody Rhodes. However, he gets rolled up and pinned for the loss. Shawn Spears and Guevara end up winning. Frustrated with himself and the whole situation, Darby Allin ends up punching Cody Rhodes, and NXT goes off the air. Yes. NXT, excuse me, AEW. Yeah.
I have something to add to that because one thing that they did specifically on Dark and then on this past episode of Dynamite was that they revealed the TNT Championship tournament, and all 4 competitors are 4 members in this tournament. Am I correct?
Yes. So you have Sammy Guevara and Darby Allin taking on each other in the opening round, and Cody Rhodes is taking on Shawn Spears in the opening round. Yeah. So
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. On the other side of things, you have, I believe, Lance Archer taking on Colt Cabana, I want to say.
Yeah.
And then, crap, that last match is fleeting me.
I'm looking up the tournament right now. Hold on, give me a second. Go ahead, keep rambling.
No. And then you've got Kip Sabian taking on Dustin Rhodes. That's the other one.
Dustin, yeah. So yeah, those are the 4 matches.
Yeah, those. It should be nice. I think I've seen what other people have thought, and I've yet to really see anyone jumping on this. I think this tournament is serving for the story role that we're getting between Cody and Lance Archer. They're on opposite side of brackets, so they can go into the finals. Currently, the story is that Jake the Snake, who was also on the show and was amazing for the minute that he had the airtime, is here to destroy Cody, and Lance Archer is his tool of destruction. And Cody's whole thing is you got to win some matches before you get to take on someone, with as much swing as I have. So enter the TNT tournament. They're on opposite sides of the tournament. That story could play out right there, which I really wouldn't be the biggest fan of. I think Cody, just stay away from the belts. He's so good at his storytelling that he just doesn't need a title.
That's actually what I was going to add. I'm looking at the bracket right now, and it's kind of disappointing that it looks like that might be the finals, unfortunately. I'm looking at it right now. I kind of hope I'm wrong, but I was kind of hoping it would end in the finals where it's like, I don't know, like Sammy Guevara versus Darby Allin or Sammy...
that was like the
Shawn
initial.
Spears. I feel like out of all of them here, I feel like Shawn Spears and Sammy Guevara are the main ones that need this title. I don't think anybody else on here needs the title.
Right, and I completely agree with you. Yeah.
I
could see Darby, but Darby is another person that doesn't really need the belt, and he's so young that you could take forever and you'd still feel good. Whereas Sammy Guevara is just as young, but Sammy really feels like his character would thrive with a belt.
Also, too, Darby, I feel like I don't want him to have a title unless it's the world title. I feel like his character doesn't need the title unless it's the world title, the top title. And then with Cody, I feel like he's just too big for this TNT title. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I think like I said, with me, the stigma is that you're not supposed to. You know what I mean? You're supposed to suspend your disbelief, but everyone knows that this promotion was put together by the wrestlers themselves, and that Cody Rhodes is one of the main pillars calling the shots. And I just can't, like, anytime I see him around a belt, I do lose a little bit of my enthusiasm because my cynical side of my brain is like, oh, the man's booking himself in a title match, And so I have a hard time getting over that. I stated a couple months ago that I would like to see a match where Cody puts up his executive title on the line and he loses it, and then that way in story all he is a performer, and that
backstage he can still have it, but within the story,
but they can address it. At least that way you address it head on and you try to work with it a little bit, so cynical assholes like myself will shut the fuck up. Now, go ahead and cover the most recent show, the one that just went off the air an hour ago, SmackDown.
We started things off with the SmackDown title, like Miss TV segment. It was supposed to be Miss TV to be introduced first. Usos cut off Mike Rome, I think it's the guy that was on, the announcer. Mm-hmm. Then they get interrupted by the New Day, and then that's when Miz and Morrison come out. And the entire time, I'm actually not paying attention to anything that's really being said, other than like the little stuff that Usos and New Day were talking about each other. Usos were basically saying like, "Hey, before these guys came into the picture, B, we're gonna take you guys out. You guys were gonna get a whooping. You guys were gonna get got basically, and the entire time, like I was saying, the only thing I can think about is, are they gonna address the fact that Miz wasn't at WrestleMania? Why are they still doing this? I don't want to see this build. Address it. It's the go home show, and they didn't address it. At one point, they start climbing the ladder. Miz Morrison, insinuating that this was going to happen at WrestleMania. We're going to retain our titles, and they go and get dropped down by the rest of the team. I don't remember exactly how it ended because the entire time I'm over here trying to just remember what the fuck is going on with this whole feud. It's like, what's going to happen? The reports are that it's just going to be turned into a singles triple threat ladder match with Morrison, a member of the Usos, and a member of the New Day, and that's how it's going to be, and that's how they're going to write it into story. The entire time I didn't care because I knew the match wasn't happening.
Right.
After that, though, Naomi comes out, and they're going to have a triple threat match with Lacey Evans and Tamina, with Sasha Banks and Bayley on commentary. The great thing about this is that Michael Cole kept trying to get Bayley with the get you questions about the Sasha and Bayley stuff that happened. He brought up how Sasha was smiling after Bayley left the ring, and it's oh, Sasha, what would you do if you have to pin Bayley to win the championship and it comes down to just the two of you? So he really was trying to force a wedge in between the two of them, but Sasha was just sidestepping every single one of his questions or remarks and stuff like that. So I thought that was the big thing. It was to me that they did pick up the victory, and afterwards, Bayley's like, hey, I'm glad you're in the match, hey, you're my equal, I'm glad you're back, I'm glad you're in the match, you deserve it. And she just gets super kicked the fuck out. She gets her kicked down her throat, and then that's when Sasha comes out. And then at this point, I'm thinking, wait, is Sasha gonna reveal that she has a partnership with Tamina? Actually, she tried to bring up their past with the whole Team Bad and the whole Unity thing, and she just got a Samoan drop for her troubles. This 2 weeks in a row, they're building up Tamina and then giving her a credible reason as to why she's in the match, making it seem like she's just returning as opposed to she's been sitting and catering this whole time and they had nothing for her. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what it is. They just had nothing for her. But
I like what Adam Blampier booked or fantasy booked, because Tamina ain't even gonna make it to the match. She's gonna be walking out for her entrance, and she's gonna get jumped by Nia Jax, and Nia Jax will put herself in her place again. And I thought that was such a genius fucking move.
Nah, man.
Yes.
I mean, we'll see. I don't think it'll happen. I mean, but it's an interesting way to write that. Interesting. Right. But I mean, me personally, I'd like to see what Tamina's got here, man, because I kind of want to see if there really is an underlying partnership between Tamina and either Sasha or Bayley, and that's where one of them turn on each other.
I this one I feel like is a foregone conclusion. Bayley is going to out Sasha Banks. At one point, Sasha's probably going to have the chance to deceive Bayley or and take a cheap shot or whatever it may be. Bayley and her will lock gazes, and Sasha will back off or hesitate, and then Bayley will take the shortcut and lay out Sasha. That's the only way, because every other way I think about it's stale, unless somehow you just take one of them out of the match, ahead of time. But I think it comes down to the two of them. You get a decent little mini match in a match. And then, at one point, it looks like Sasha Banks will turn, but in fact, it'll be Bayley.
It's weird because between this women's match, the Fatal 5-Way elimination match, the Raw Women's title match, and the NXT Women's title match, I'm more interested to find out what happens in this match, just because I don't know where they're going to go with it. Because what they could do is that they could have Sasha turn out Bayley, and that's the easy, most way they
seen it, man.
We've seen it, but like what you were saying, I want to see. What if Bayley is playing dumb and she knows and she's seen everything that Sasha's doing, and she's like, "I knew you're gonna turn on me. I'm smarter than you, Sasha. You're not gonna out Sasha me."
And then you kick off a feud going all the way to SummerSlam between Bayley and Sasha, and it culminates in SummerSlam.
Oh, for sure. I'm down for it. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Afterwards, we had a Ric Flair HBK replay from WrestleMania 26 or 24, right?
24, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. So it was 24. WrestleMania 24, Ric Flair's retirement match. Beautiful. Loved it. If you
Fucking
haven't seen
awesome
it,
match,
what the
dude.
fuck is wrong with you?
Telling you,
We
man. Rob in the chat at Two Words Can't See Me, Mr. Rob Root himself. Dude, he says Ric Flair's his favorite wrestler all time. Says Ric Flair's the greatest thing. A man reinvents himself every decade.
Oh yeah.
Just throwing that out there, Mr. Rob.
Yeah. That's why he calls himself Rob Roode. That's why he likes heel so much, because Ric Flair lived the gimmick, and he lives the gimmick every day.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Rob, just hey, look. I know you like to keep it a secret, but we had to let everyone know Ric Flair's your favorite wrestler, Rob.
So following that, the big thing other than the main event was the Otis, Mandy Rose, Dolph Ziggler storyline build. My God,
Segment of the week, man. Segment of the week for sure.
Not even just segments. It was sprinkled in throughout the episode. Like, you see Tucker talking to Mandy, then you see Tucker and Otis talking, and then Otis is getting a text from Mandy or something, and he scurries off. Tucker has a match with Dolph Ziggler. Remind me, I can't remember. Otis, was he there from the start of the match, or like he came in like afterwards?
Yeah, Otis came out only after the match had ended.
Mm-hmm. So whoever sent him the text was trying to draw him away from that match or whatever was happening.
Yeah, I just assumed it was Dolph. I assumed Dolph Ziggler set him up or something. But
yeah, that's what I was figuring, is that he set him up so that he can have a singles match with Tucker and take him out so they'd be just him and Otis at WrestleMania. And what caused Mandy and Sonya to get back into ringside?
So the match is going well, and Tucker was really going back and forth with Dolph. Like I'm sorry, man, but I've come around to Tucker, and I think a lot of people give this guy way too hard of a time, man. Tucker serves a great role with Otis, and he's awesome in the ring. Like Tucker is a fun guy to watch wrestle. But anyways, yeah. So towards the end of the match, the steel steps were laid out on the outside, and Dolph Ziggler gets himself DQ'd by hitting a zigzag on Tucker on the steel steps. At that point,
which is weird because that's never cause for a DQ.
Yeah.
The steel steps, for whatever reason, don't count as a DQ.
So yeah, and Dolph's laying into Tucker, so that prompts Mandy and Sonya to come out of concern. Like, Dolph, you're being a real D-bag over here, essentially. Like, I like that Mandy Rose's character is actually being portrayed with some semblance of intelligence. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it. She's so self-aware within the story that's happening.
Exactly. Like, I'm not here to be an object in a match, and like I said, like, she's coming across as like genuine, and I think it's to help her babyface role. But once again, babyfaces are typically stupid. So,
yeah, true.
Yeah. Otis at that point comes out, and then the big reveal happens when all four of them are out there.
And that's what I loved about this whole thing. And again, I said this on last week's show. I started to notice that the static was happening during Dolph segments or stuff that revolved around it, and you expanded upon it, saying, I think I seen it with it happening with like heavy machinery stuff or Mandy and Sonya stuff. And I'm pretty sure that's the case as well. We can go back and you probably can see that this has been taking place. So they're overlapping two different stories, and the little glitch shows this hacker guy like in the computer room, and it's like the truth will be heard, and he had like his like some like voice scrambler thing going on, so we didn't know who it was. The actual reveal of who was behind it,
dude, it's fucking Ali, bro.
Okay. We still don't know. Yeah, it could be anybody.
Symbol is only what is used on Ollie's glove for all of his damn entrances.
For all we know, this could be Hornswoggle again.
Yeah,
we don't know.
No, you're probably right. So you're probably right, man.
So the one thing I did like about this, do you remember like I want to say like a week or two ago, WWE tweeted something like upside down, the truth will be revealed, and nobody knew what the fuck that was. They just assumed that WWE's Twitter got hacked, and that's what the message was: is the truth will be revealed. He exposed Mandy Rose, not Mandy, Sonya Deville and Dolph Ziggler being in cahoots to set up and sabotage like Otis and Mandy Rose from ever happening. and Mandy storms off, and Sonya tries to get an explanation from the whole thing. I loved it. Otis is like, oh yeah, now, like the truth is out there now. You know,
Yeah,
it
this was
leaves him.
good.
It gives him hope that he's gonna have a future with Mandy Rose.
Yeah, I gotta say it was really cool. Yeah, the hacker scene, although aesthetically looked really cool. When I'm looking at the still image right now, super cheesy, man. It's very '90s Matrix. What we thought hackers stuff looked like,
Yeah.
like. But it was cool, man. It's cool. It's
What
totally
if this is just Ali's gaming setup? You know, like maybe this is
yeah,
his gaming setup. I'm like, bro, do you have like a computer room or something? I'm like, yeah, dude, I stream all the time on Twitch,
yeah.
and then they just use that.
With the exception of the first monitor, it definitely. No, okay. I'm looking at it. I'm like, it almost looks like it's an exact mirror image, but it's not. Um, it aesthetically was just throwing me off. Like how perfect it was. Sometimes things that can be too perfect, and that was this, man. You needed some like empty Red Bulls and like an ashtray full of cigarettes. Like it needed something to dirty it up some.
Hey, if it had a Chicago style hot dog and a DiGiorno's, like a Giordano's deep dish pizza, it would have been a dead giveaway for Ali.
Maybe
Like those are all Chicago stuff. Like he's eating Chicago's like a stereotypical food.
it's that would be dope, actually. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, but no, it's cool, man. It's definitely cool. It was very dramatic in the moment. It was super dramatic. I'm wondering now what they're gonna do for Mania, because Mania is typically the big reveal, right? But I guess Mania now is Otis overcomes all the odds and and gets like the kiss from Sonya Deville. Unfortunately,
Mandy Rose, you mean?
yeah, Mandy Rose. Jeez, I'm fucking up everyone's name.
Dude, I did the same thing earlier.
So I am sad though that this could indicate the end of Fire and Desire, which I thought they worked well as a tag team.
Oh yeah, they just never. Unfortunately, Fire and Desire reminds me of Riot Squad in the sense that a team or faction that worked really well together as a unit. You didn't think they would, but for whatever reason they worked. They never put the titles on them or had them legitimately chase those tag titles and put in the title picture. They were never treated that way.
No,
They're gonna fall into that Riot Squad category where like, what if they missed the opportunity? They might be better off as singles wrestlers, to be honest. Because Sonya Deville, I look at
Mandy Rose, not Sonya.
No, dude, Sonya Deville is the one that's gonna break out from that whole thing.
I don't, man. The fans will want her. It's a matter of do the people behind the scenes want her to. I don't think that the people behind the scenes, man, could care less.
This reminds me, and I had the same mentality when Miz and Morrison initially broke up. Nobody pinned Miz to be the breakout guy and be the main WWE guy and be the mainstay. Everybody figured, oh, John Morrison, yeah, look at him. He looks like he's the stereotypical wrestler. That's how you want to look.
So we have to wait 10 years before Sonya Deville gets some respect and like is
No. I in this situation, Sonya Deville is going to be the Miz in this situation, and Mandy Rose is going to be the John Morrison. That person that just gets there is there in the title picture.
But that's what I'm saying. You had to wait like a decade for Miz to start, like for his accomplishments to accumulate. It was always like
WWE,
a bunch of
in WWE. The women's careers, they're cut in like half or thirds or whatever, so it's going to speed up a little bit. I feel like Sonya's going to get to that title picture within a year. She will be in that SmackDown or Raw Women's title picture. That's just my prediction, man. I feel I'm to be like Sonya just has everything: in-ring stuff, the look, character, and she can talk on the mic. She just hasn't been given the opportunity. I like Mandy too, but I feel like there's a higher ceiling for Sonya Deville.
Like I said, I think there's more potential. I just don't think it'll be tapped into. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, for sure. Let's quickly wrap this up. We had Daniel Bryan versus Shinsuke Nakamura, a dream match if you ever had one. Unfortunately, they were given like about 10 minutes on an empty arena SmackDown that ended in a DQ, unfortunately. Sad face, because this is the main reason Shinsuke Nakamura came to WWE is to have this match with Daniel Bryan. He said so himself. And just to have a 10-minute match that ends in DQ, no fans there. I don't know how he feels. I want to see this match happen later down the line with some actual crowd, maybe build up a feud. But it's just a stopgap stuff for Daniel Bryan and the Sami Zayn feud. the IC title match at WrestleMania. Which again, I said it on the predictions episode, and I'll say it again right now. And you and I have been saying it. This is a dream match, and it's going under the
sleeper
radar.
Hit, man. Complete sleeper hit. It's just WWE needs to get out the way and just let these guys wrestle. Just let them do their thing, man. Just let them have a match. Try not to overbook it too much. You know you're going to get Cesaro and Nakamura in there, but try not to fall too much on the hijinks. Yeah, Gulak be an equalizer. But let the majority of this match, like I said, give everybody a quick little interference and then let the ref just send them all to the back. And then, now you got another 10 or 15 minutes just Zayn and Daniel Bryan doing what they do best. It'll be nasty, man. It'll be awesome.
For sure. After that, we had the confirmation. I thought that the way that Triple H was saying it, and I think his ESPN interview was like, "Oh, the reason why we haven't officially announced."
Asshole, man! Like what?
The reason why he hadn't announced officially, WWE hasn't announced officially that Roman Reigns was out of WrestleMania, even though we knew for almost 2 weeks. Is that wait to see how it develops. We have an interesting. We have a way of how we're going to tell it on TV, and that's the way we're going to do it. We're going to have the storyline progressing. And it was just Michael Cole saying, "Oh yeah, it's Braun Strowman in this match now." No mention of Roman Reigns whatsoever.
Story development. That is the old bait and switch. Use Roman's appeal to sell some tickets, and then fucking last second, Roman's out, man. It was so.
That's
blatant.
all it was.
It was so
and they
blatant.
could have done two things, and I said this was A. You could even use like a double, like a body double for Roman Reigns, just have him being just put it on the long sleeve to cover up the tattoos, get a guy with long hair, just have him face down or whatever, and then Braun standing over him oh my gosh, Roman, and then he yells at him, "I will never be finished with you," and then that's why he was taken out. Or you can go the hey man, you're the locker room guy now, hey man, you're gonna step up. Similar to what Becky did with Charlotte in the Ronda Rousey match. It's hey, I can't compete because of health reasons. I want to be there, but I can't because of health reasons. I choose you to be the one to take the title off of Goldberg, get the title off of part-timer. You're a full-timer just like me. You're here every single day. If anybody knows the struggle, it's you and I. We've been through battles. I feel like you can beat Goldberg. Or and have him get endorsed by Roman.
Or we could have just Michael Cole quickly read it and facing down the camera.
Oh man,
they're all terrible. Equally as effective. They're all equally as dramatic and effective. Vicente,
who's to say? Everybody has a personal preference. Yeah. But that leads us to our main event, the closing segment. John Cena addresses the Fiend's challenge. And what I loved about this, the first time since Triple H on the first episode of SmackDown in the empty arena, where WWE have acknowledged the stuff that's happening outside the situation, and he's saying why WrestleMania is being taped with no fans, why it's going to be talked about, because we don't know what's going to happen for the first time ever. That's why everybody's going to be tuning in, because we don't know what they're going to do, what's going to happen.
Who's moving, man? It was actually it was very moving in the beginning of that promo.
I've said this once or twice, and I'll keep saying this. If John Cena ever runs for president, I will vote for the guy because I feel like he has this way of talking to the masses. That will calm you down and reassure you and make you feel like everything will be okay in a bad situation. John Cena just always has that vibe to him for whatever reason. I feel like he's just very good at that.
Yeah.
In the middle of his in the promo, he also basically buries Bray Wyatt and the Fiend, the character the Fiend. He's like Bray Wyatt. He's not even on the level below me, and I'm supposed to be afraid of the Fiend, who's like what he said, fuck, what did he call it? He's like the like a love child or hybrid of 2 Chainz or Wiz Khalifa or something, and some other thing. I don't know. I'm doing a disservice to the promo, but he just buries the look and the.
He mentioned how Goldberg exposed him too.
Yes, he's like, yes, I'm gonna go to WrestleMania. I'm gonna accept this challenge so I can go ahead and finish what I started at WrestleMania 30 and just end Bray Wyatt and the Fiend. Goldberg exposed that the Fiend does have weaknesses and he can't be beaten. I'm going to bury him, basically. And that's when the puppets of the Firefly Funhouse start to show up. First it was Rambo Rabbit, then it was Huskus the Pig, then it was Buzzy. Wait, what's it the buzzer called?
Mercy.
Mercy the Buzzard, and then Abby the Witch. They're all surrounding the ring. And then that's when Ramley Rabbit's like, he's here. And then the lights go off.
They were like, you can,
right
after
back.
the match, you play with us forever.
Yes.
Like,
making it very ominous and eerie. If John Cena wasn't intimidated before, he was at that moment. He's like, what the fuck is going on? And then lights, he's like, he's here. And then Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, shows up in the little crow's nest area where Baron Corbin killed Elias. And he's just staring. They're locking eyes. A very, very tense situation. And then we get the jump scare of the Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt, going behind John Cena saying, let me in. Legitimately jumped John Cena and myself. I'm not gonna lie, I jumped a little bit, like, oh shit, I didn't see Bray there.
I knew they were gonna do some type of camera trick, but but the whole time I was thinking about it, like I was watching it, and it was very nice, by the way. Not to knock it at all. What I wanted to see done is, did you see the segment on AEW last week? How it was the over the shoulder of Chris Jericho and Matt Hardy was blipping all over the arena.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted something similar like that, but you don't have as many factors that play in because they're indoors. So you can keep everything still. And you have that long shot over Cena's shoulder, and you see the Fiend like way off in the distance, how it was. And then it blips, and the Fiend is tackling John Cena with the mandible claw. Like, no cut or nothing. He just fucking teleports into the mandible claw on Cena and completely, like, I guess just murders him, because everything's got to be over the top. He murders him. They don't even have a WrestleMania match. It just I thought it was gonna be cool if he just teleported, like while you were staring at him, he just teleported, did the same thing, like the jump scare. Like, it's still a jump scare, but now he's attacking him. But I do like how they did it with the Mr. Rogers one, because that indicates, the rumors that have been circulating that Bray Wyatt has been pitching, that in this match that will have both the Fiend and the Mr. Rogers Bray Wyatt. You will have them both.
I really want to see that, especially if that's the way. If Cena does beat the Fiend, like maybe they go and address the Lantern. Remember how like Bray was talking to the Lantern, the old Bray Wyatt in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's some way we get like the old Bray Wyatt too. You know
All right, we get Husky Harris. And
you just get every incarnation of Bray Wyatt.
Everyone, man.
Oh, here's one thing that nobody has said. What if him being in the Funhouse? Because you know how like sometimes like the Fiend and Bray Wyatt just change you to your past selves. What if at some point we get Thugonomics Cena in there and he goes back to current Cena? I want to see like really get into it, man. Like it. Make it goofy if you have to be, man. But I'm for it. This match and the Edge and Randy Orton match are probably the two matches I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah. Oh, this is my one. I mean, you can't see it on the screen here, but I got John Cena and the Fiend facing down right here in the damn set. I liked. If you guys haven't had a chance, man, before we go into watching WrestleMania, go ahead and tune into Parts Fun Known. It's the sister channel to Wrestle Talk, and check out Adam Blampier, how he fantasy books night 1 and night 2 of WrestleMania. It's fantastic. For one, I don't know how Blampier is not employed by WWE yet. As much stuff as he's done for the fantasy booking, and it actually sounds way better than anything they've put out. You got to check it out. It's so entertaining. And one of the things that he said in this match would be cool is the element that Bray Wyatt blames John Cena for taking years off of his career, you know, and so he's going to return the favor to Cena, similar to what you said. But at one part, he has Cena locked in the mandible claw, and it cuts to black, it cuts back, and now he's Thugonomics. But then it keeps on going. It cuts out, it cuts back, and he's like the prototype. And he literally mandible claws like the last 20 years out of like Cena's career, and he races him from WWE.
I would love to see that.
I mean, he just completely wipes him from WWE's history. Then you can go a step forward, go on like their website, although they would never do it. Scrub any mention of John Cena, like give him the racist Hulk Hogan treatment, where you just wipe your hands clean of John Cena.
No, I'd miss that guy too much, unfortunately.
No, I know. That's taking it too far, but...
man.
Yeah, man. That's the show. Yeah, I gotta say, I'm looking forward to the same matches. I'm looking forward to the Fiend and John Cena. I'm looking forward to Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. I'm really hoping for a lot there. Edge and Orton is the other big one. Um, Goldberg is probably going to be such a stinker, and unfortunately, I have a feeling that the Brock Lesnar match will give us a great result in Drew McIntyre winning, but will probably come across stale because Drew conquers this beast in front of nobody.
Right.
So that's going to be a bummer if it goes down like that. What else?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other people though too. They're well convinced that Cena wins, Goldberg wins, and who was that? The other one? I think Lesnar. They think that like all three of those guys retain or win. They believe that Lesnar, Goldberg, and Cena all come out victorious.
Is that Rob? It sounds like a Rob thing to say minus the Goldberg stuff.
No. It wasn't Brock. Excuse me, it wasn't Brock. Undertaker.
Oh, okay.
I believe
Yeah.
No,
I can see Undertaker when they do it.
I think Undertaker will win. I just don't want him to. I don't think he should. I think there should be AJ Styles match. Yeah, I think it should be. Like I said,
AJ Styles got pretty far in our tournament. Not going to spoil anything, but that's his consolation prize. He got far in the March Madness tournament.
All right, man. Well, hey, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure, once again, follow us at SmackDraw Pod, myself at The Kai Tai Show, and Mr. Vicente Exotic over here. Follow him at SES Vince on Twitter. He's a blast. And make sure to tune in. We're covering WrestleMania. Don't know yet. We might do it live. We'll do both episodes separately. We're gonna do them live. I'm not sure if we're gonna do it Saturday night and Sunday night or Sunday morning and Sunday night. It's up in the air right now, folks. Honestly, but once again, thank you guys for joining us, and y'all have a great rest of your evening.